Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:07 on this Friday edition of O'Connor and Company. Thanks for letting us ride shotgun with you on your morning routine, and hopefully we'll get you going with all the news you need, some analysis, and hopefully a smile on your face as well. I know I'm smiling, because if you're not smiling, you're crying. Coming up at 8:05, Dr. Mark Siegel, big announcement from the Trump administration on lowering prices of weight loss drugs. That's all part of the Trump RX program. And then coming up at 8:35, Chuck Thies. A lot of stuff going on in D.C. How does a guy assaulting a police officer get acquitted? Well, D.C. jury pool man. Will Mayor Bowser also benefit from that D.C. jury pool if she is charged with corruption, taking money from a foreign country? We'll get into all of that coming up. Right now, though, we got more to discuss with Patrice Onwuka. Yes. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, it is Friday. Even with the rough week on Election Day and Tuesday, and even with the shutdown continuing, there's a slight glimmer of hope, apparently, from some of the lawmakers in the Senate that have suggested that there might be a breakthrough. But it is the 38th day of the shutdown, and things are about to get rough, especially if you're traveling by air today.
Yes.
As we mentioned yesterday, 10% of flights are going to be canceled. Those cancellations will cause a domino effect, of course. And yesterday, Senator Ted Cruz joined many of his Republicans by taking the gloves off a bit here and laying in on the pain that people are feeling because the Democrats want leverage. Here's cut 16.
My question is when will we solve this shutdown?
Look, if you look, this shutdown, the Schumer shutdown, is imposing very real costs on the American people. Let's just focus on flights. There are 50,000 TSA agents right now who are going into work. Not a one of them is getting paid. They missed their last paycheck. They're not getting paid. There are 14,000 air traffic controllers. They're going into work. Not a one of them is getting paid. They missed their last paycheck. What's the result of that? Well, we're seeing more and more delays, more and more cancellation, thousands and thousands of cancellations and delays. We're seeing ground stops in L.A., in D.C., in Houston. Just a few days ago in Houston, Bush Airport, the line to get through TSA was 2.5 to 3 hours long. And as you know, today the FAA announced the 40 largest airports in America have a mandatory 10% reduction in traffic. That means 1 out of every 10 flights is going to be canceled. There are millions of Americans who are going to have their flights canceled or substantially delayed because Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have forced the longest shutdown in history. My hope, we voted 14 times to open the government. Republicans have voted to reopen the government over and over and over again. 14 times the Democrats have voted keep the government shut down. Tomorrow, I expect we'll put on the floor an appropriations bill that has 3 appropriations bill and an extended continuing resolution. There's some chance the Democrats might finally let us open the doors and turn the lights on, but we'll see. This will continue until the Democrats decide they've had enough with their political stunt.
All right, so that was yesterday. So when Senator Trump says tomorrow, that's today. They're going to put through those appropriations bills. There's no sign the Democrats will approve that. The appropriations bills have been sitting there and waiting, Patrice. The House has done their job.
Yes.
They went to regular order. They actually passed all the appropriations bills. Senate hasn't done a thing for political purposes. They want to show that they're fighting. And I guess that it worked because they did get the election results they wanted. I've reached the point now where I think that the Republicans should do away with the filibuster. I think that they should go ahead and get the government open. They can go to the American people and say, the Democrats kept your SNAP benefits. The Democrats stopped paying the military. The Democrats stopped paying traffic controllers. The Democrats stopped paying their TSA workers. We've just done it. We are now going to restore the government. We've got it funded. And we didn't acquiesce and bow to what the Democrats demanded. All we did was change a Senate procedure rule, and fine. That's how they want to play. That's how we will play. And now get stuff done and do everything that you can with the 50+1 votes that you've got in the Senate, and let the chips fall where they may. And I'm at that point now. Who cares? Because God knows when the Democrats are in power, they will do away with the filibuster and do whatever they want. I'm sorry, that's just how it has to be now.
I hear where you're, excuse me, I hear what you're saying, Larry. Here's the thing. The Democrats, if you do that, they will say, oh, see, we were right the whole time. Republicans could have ended this shutdown a long time ago, and they're the ones who held it hostage. They're the ones who held your SNAP benefits hostage, your military pay hostage. All of this caused these flight delays.
Oh, no, the Democrats are going to lie? Oh, gosh. Of course they're going to do that. Well,
yeah, but here's the thing. There's a media more than complicit to run with their storyline versus the truth. Okay. And, we talked about it earlier. I still don't think that that for every single Republican bill that would be introduced, you would get all 52 Republicans to vote on everything. I mean, I'm optimistic and hopeful, but I also remember John McCain being a maverick. I know we have Susan Collins and Elisa Murkowski, and frankly, there are other members of the Senate who might, on a particular issue, want to play a spoiler role, in which case maybe you don't always get all of the agenda items you want across the line. And what you risk in doing that is you've ended the filibuster. Sure, maybe you get one or two things done, but the suite of other policies that you really wanted to advance fail, and then the Democrats come right in, and they will always vote lock and step together to advance their radical agenda of stacking the court, etc.
Fine, I'd rather know who's the problem in the Republican caucus than let them hide behind the Democrats. Patrice, short of that, I don't see what the solution is. What do you see as a solution? Democrats aren't moving. They want the American people to feel pain.
They do. I think that their discomfort is really what's going to be the key. They don't care about the discomfort. They don't care about the financial ruin of their constituents, but they care about the fact that because they fly commercial, they're going to be the ones who can't get on the flights. They're going to be the ones who can't get to and from the way they desire to. So I think that's going to be more of a motivator. Plus, the election is in their rearview mirror now. I think you're going to see the Democrats blink. I expect that they will probably. I don't think they're probably there. I think what you're going to have to see is a new CR that gets us beyond the current one, because the current one expires on November 21st. And so to avoid us being back in this place in 2 weeks from now, I think you're going to have to see a new continuing resolution, a clean one again. I know Republicans did their job in the House. They've been doing their job in the Senate, but you're going to need a clean one that at least gets us through the holiday season early next January, I think, which gives time for the appropriations process to continue and ensures that Thanksgiving and Christmas do not again become bargaining chips for the Democrats to squeal about some other promise that they want, whether it's the money for NPR or it's the health care coverage for illegal immigrants. So that's what my prediction is. I think that there's a good reason to believe that there will be a new CR that gets us at least into the beginning of next year.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't see much of an indication of that. There was some suggestion yesterday by some Democrats that there might be something moving forward, but I don't see it. And frankly, I think Republicans, even if you lose Lisa McCarthy, even if you lose Susan Collins, that gets you to 50. You've got J.D. Vance to break the tie. Republicans
you still
need to
have
show,
a Rand Paul. You still have one or two who on a particular piece of legislation.
Honestly,
I don't know. I'm just not that.
I would rather have John Thune punish Republicans within his caucus to look completely neutered to the Democrat caucus, blocking everything and letting those wishy-washy Republicans hide behind the Democrats' skirts. All right? Get out there, get something done, and have those Republicans who are facing re-election deal with the fact that Donald Trump, the president, is now their enemy, instead of being able to say, oh, no, it's all Schumer's fault. It's been too easy for those Republicans. And I don't think it's as big a concern as you think it is. It's outrageous to say, well, we better not do it with the filibuster because then we won't get anything done because the Republicans aren't there to vote for it either. In that case, what's the point of having the majority? Seriously, Leader Thune, Chief of Staff of Leader Thune, everyone in Leader Thune's staff, what's the point of having the majority if Chuck Schumer is really calling the shots? What's the point of being majority leader? You wanted to be majority leader, lead.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Well, sure, we call it critter news, but it's kind of the stuff of nightmares, isn't it? This story, where exactly does Heather Hunter find these things? There is a video going around. It's viral viral in every creepy, deadly sense of the word, that shows scientists in a cave, a sulfur cave on the Albanian-Greece border. Now, right there, if your job description involves you going into a sulfur cave on the Greece-Albanian border, it's time to brush up the resume and maybe find another profession. Who
no,
does?
I mean, just ask for a bigger hazard pay bonus when you have to go into the cave.
So you're in a sulfur cave on the Albania-Greece border, and you discover what looks like a spongy kind of wall. You reach up and you push on it. It looks like a rock, okay? But it's spongy. It's soft. It gives. It's got like sort of a what the heck is that, right? And right there, you should like run screaming because it's obviously not of this world. Look at your shivers. Look at you're already creeping out
I'm like
because you know the
myself.
punchline. It turns out it's not a squishy rock. It is the world's largest spider web. And so wait a second. So why does it seem all full? Why is it so squishy, and why has it got some weight to it? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because that world's largest spider web is full of approximately 111,000 spiders.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
This is the worst video game I've ever played.
You know, this reminds me of a scene in Indiana Jones. I think the Temple of Doom, where he has to reach into something like that, and it's just, it is
Yes.
as awful as you can imagine. It is terrible.
It's like that, but times 100,000. It's outrageous. Yeah,
It's creepy.
111,000 spiders created this web. It's big enough to catch a whale. I mean,
my
assuming
goodness.
a whale would be flying in a cave on the Albania-Greece border, which probably not likely, since whales don't fly.
So what are they eating to subsist?
You don't want to know.
I mean,
they're eating cave dwellers and researchers who go. They're eating photographers from National Geographic. It stretches 106 square meters for those of us in America. That's 1,100 square feet. That's bigger than my first apartment in New York.
oh wow!
It's got a spindly structure. You'll be happy to know that it's not just one spider that did this, though. Of course, that's the first thought. It's like, I want to see the size of the spider that made this web. No, it was a lot of them working together. They took genetic samples from the web. It says that it's actually living in the web. It's about 69,000 domestic style house spiders, and then 42,000 what's called a perignon vagan. Apparently, these two spiders, these breeds don't like each other. They go to war oftentimes. There's little spider battles. That sounds like an awesome video game, by the way. But in this case, they have figured out how to work together cooperatively to create this giant spider web.
Now, this just struck me. Wouldn't it be just insane if you harness there was something unique about the spider webs that if you capsulated it, it could cure, I don't know about cancer, but could cure some malaise that we've been trying to deal with. I mean, what if they've discovered a cure for something, maybe even a fountain of youth? What if you put that on your face every day and
they're spiders,
you're
Patrice.
rejuvenated?
They're not working on curing diseases. They're spiders. They're looking to see if Frodo is walking by.
Yes, but God puts all the
ring.
creatures on the planet for a reason,
No.
and you never know what that crazy, insane spider web
Fine,
could be
then
the
we
cure
should leave
for.
them alone. You want to put that junk on your face? Go ahead. I'll be very happy for you. Lord. And so now, and here's the really bad thing about when a video like this goes viral. Then suddenly other people start chiming in with, oh, you think that's bad? Look at this spider web. And now I'm looking at these down in Australia. Of course, it's always Australia.
It's always Australia.
If it's not a sulfur cave on the border of Albania and Greece, it's Australia. They have these just fields out in the wild, and it looks as though there are these giant sprinklers spraying water across the top of the fields, and the photograph captured the water being sprayed. But no. That's not sprayed water. Those are spider webs that blanket like an acre of this that's very thin spider webs like gossamer. And those were all created by. So now you've got this domino effect of people trying to creep you out even more with more spider garbage. I don't know about you. I am enlisted in our house to be the spider assassin.
That's my husband's job. Yeah,
so Meredith is tough as leather. She is no wilting flower. But when there's a bug on the wall, there's a scream and a door slam, and I am charged with going in after it to try to kill the bug. And I'm fine with it.
Are we sure that these videos are legit and not just AI? I mean,
No,
it almost looks manufactured.
Real.
It's beautiful if real, but.
Let me just say, if you're planning a cruise for the holidays and one of the shore expeditions is to go into a sulfur cave, I would take a pass on that one and go just hang out at the bar instead. All right, now that we've got the shivers, thanks for that critter news. It's 7:23.
All right, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, and she is not apologizing. We'll listen to her more. Stay with us. It's O'Connor and Company at 7:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:37. Good Friday to you. It's O'Connor and Company, and we're chugging along here on the 38th day of the government shutdown with no real solution in sight. I've turned a corner on it, as you may have heard. It's do away with the filibuster. What are we worried about? Oh, no, the Democrats might do that. Of course they will. Of course, there's no doubt. What do you mean might? They already tried to do it. So do it first and get some stuff done and show the American people that they can't afford to go back to Democrats as the majority in the Senate and work it. Just work it. Coming up at 8:05, Dr. Mark Siegel on yesterday's announcement of lower prices for weight loss drugs. And then at 8:35, Chuck Thies, the latest out of D.C., Mayor Bowser under investigation and turning toward the Mamdani style of politics, it looks like. Also, Sandwich Guy acquitted by a D.C. jury. There's no real justice system in Washington, in the district. Time to do away with home rule. I'm just done. I've had it, Patrice Onwuka. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning. Happy Friday, Larry. And you know what? We made it. Okay? That's what we can have some solace in.
Yesterday, we played a little bit of this interview of Sydney Sweeney and GQ magazine. You'll remember Sydney Sweeney is the young actress who set the world on fire with a host of ads for American Eagle jeans with the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. And, of course, suddenly that was interpreted as some sort of eugenics message for white supremacy and MAGA. And
because it's coming from an attractive white woman, a biological woman at that.
And Sydney Sweeney was like, we played this yesterday. She said, we did a gene ad. It was a gene ad. Everybody chill out. But then further on in the interview, and this was released and sort of extended, and sort of one segment of it went viral yesterday where the reporter kept pressing her and basically said, everybody just assumes that you're some sort of racist MAGA Trump supporter. I'd like to give you the opportunity to deny that, which it tells you everything you need to know about how journalists operate, but also how we've grown accustomed to Hollywood bending the knee and bowing and saying, oh, no. Let me be clear. I'm not part of that team. No. I want to talk about politics. I want to testify about global warming or God knows whatever. And Sydney Sweeney wasn't playing that game. So let's walk through this. We'll start with cut 21 here, where she sort of shrugs off any fake controversy and just says, what's the problem with everybody? It was a jeans ad. Here, listen.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
Huh.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
So this reporter is obviously fishing. She's like,
Yes.
I was wondering, that was, crazy. I wonder how she's waiting for Sydney Sweeney to say, yeah, well, I'm no fan of Trump. So that was, I hated that because I don't want anyone to think. Instead, Sydney Sweeney just said it was surreal. And so now we go on further because this reporter just kept pushing. And you got to say, there's a side-by-side comparison of the expressions on their face. Sydney Sweeney knows where this is going. And she's got this stone cold stare.
Yes.
Just stony face. Don't even try it. Don't even. And this reporter, she's the personification of, the Oberlin College type, or a Ivy League J school, which is sort of a smart alecky sort of, total irony in her facial expression, trying to obviously everybody hates Trump. Why aren't you saying it? So now listen, cut 22.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. That was kind of the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
It's just the best.
Ooh.
It's just and she just kept staring back. But that whole idea, obviously people think, white people shouldn't joke about, their genes and superiority. So I want to give you the opportunity to speak to that. She hasn't had an opportunity if she wanted to speak to it.
Yeah,
and she
absolutely.
just said, yeah, if I'm going to speak to it, I'll be heard. It was just brilliant. I loved it.
Well, did you catch, though, that question implicitly is saying that this reporter believes that white people are superior and they just need to be quiet about their own thoughts about themselves, herself included. I mean, this is ridiculous from start to finish. But in any case, Sydney Sweeney presents a really nice contrast, Larry, to Snoop Dogg. Because if you remember, Snoop Dogg was watching television. I believe it was one of the Disney channels or one of those Cartoon Network, maybe one of those channels with his grandson, and heard a LGBTQ character and, made a comment, maybe posted about it, this kind of content shouldn't be for my grandkids. This should be normal.
Yeah.
Then he bended his knee and now announced recently he's going to be doing LGBTQ plus programming for one of these networks. So it's a really nice contrast of saying, you know what I said, and that's the end of it.
We've got more on this interview here, but I just want to go on the record to say that is the tip of a very big iceberg when it comes to the contrast between Snoop Dogg and Sydney Sweeney. Okay, I just want to say there's
there's lots of other differences. Okay,
there's a lot more to get mine from that vein, but we'll just leave it there. More on Sydney Sweeney refusing to bow to the woke crowd personified by this journalist. You're going to love it.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
There's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like, I don't want to see Christy because of that. Do you worry about that?
No.
It's so good. It's so dismissive. It's and the reporter. It's so obvious what the reporter is trying to do here. If you don't say what I demand you say, people might get the impression that you're one of those people. Do you worry about that? No, not worried. She didn't do the I'm listening and I'm learning and I understand the harm that I did now and I'm going to be better. She didn't do any of that.
Celebrities do all the time. Yeah.
She just stared back. She kept a stone face. She was unimpressed with this smarmy, obnoxious, arrogant reporter. She was unbothered. She said, I did a jeans commercial. Everyone calmed down. She didn't concede the premise. She didn't validate fake outrage. She didn't offer an apology that the reporter was demanding. She just said, you know what? If I have something to say, I'll say it on my own terms. And God, it was incredible. I loved it.
Oh, I mean, I loved it too. But think about Sydney Sweeney. I mean, I didn't realize until reading this GQ article. She's on the cover and looks fabulous, by the way. And on social media, she's wearing a fur. I hope it's a real fur. You know, kill all the animals you want and wear them, you know, fabulously. I'm all for it. But what's interesting is not only is she a popular, successful actress, she's a producer and a producer of a popular sitcom. So she recognizes probably that she doesn't want to alienate her viewer base, which, you know, runs the gamut. And she obviously sees that there are a lot of conservatives, a lot of red-blooded American men and women who like her, who you know, appreciate that she will not back down, and like that she looks good in jeans, and that she's not afraid to. She doesn't have to bend the knee to the woke mob. And so, you know, she's smart to not give in. Whatever her personal thoughts are, views are, we are left to speculate. But she's not willing to give into this. This agenda-driven reporter, you know, I put reporter in quotation marks, but she's not willing to give in because that probably will have economic impacts for her, not just, you know, earning that blue check with the Blue Sky folks.
Yeah. I mean, it's an activist with a journalism degree. You're right, not a reporter necessarily, but it might be that. It might be just a cold, cynical profit play. I don't want to tick off anyone. Republicans watch movies too, kind of thing. Or there may be something deeper and more wise about what she did there. Maybe she recognizes that ultimately her job is to act and perform and
produce.
Ultimately, her political views are irrelevant to the audience. People who care about what Sydney Sweeney's political views are, there's something broken about them if they're looking for a celebrity. And also, by the way, look at all the celebrity endorsements that came in the last election, and they were meaningless. No one cares. They're not going to vote because Sydney Sweeney thinks one thing or the other. And then there's this. It might just be the fact that she realizes that she's a woman in her 20s. So at this point, listen, here, cut 26.
And being private is for my own just health and sanity. If I let everybody in all the time, I have nothing for myself. And I am just a 27-year-old, or I'm 28 now. I turned 28 yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But I'm just a 28-year-old woman who's trying to figure it out. And I'm still learning, and I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to grow. And I think that it's important to be able to do that without having to say every single thing all the time.
Right. Okay. But so you're never tempted to just like open your notes app and say, this is what I really think, and this is who I am, and this is what's going on in my life, and like stop guessing and projecting?
I mean, I'll vent to my girlfriends, but other than that, no.
No.
How incredibly refreshing. And I got to say, I'd love to have a conversation with her parents to see what they did right with this woman compared to all of her peers. Well done, Sydney Sweeney. It's 7:53.